this is David Stark from WatchOurPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today, I thought I'd try something a little different. I'm going to do a video review of Stowaway, which is releasing on Netflix on April 22nd, 2021. Normally, I do interviews, but I felt inspired on this one. I figured I'd give it a try, see what everyone thought. I'm going to be going into spoilers, so if you haven't seen it or don't want to know about the film, check out the review on watchyourpass.com. Those are spoiler free and they're very short and digestible. This will be a video review. It'll go into some spoilers. It'll go into some reasons why I didn't love this movie as much as I thought I would. But first, let's get into just some of the details about Stowaway. It's being released, as I said, on April 22nd, 2021 on Netflix. The cast is phenomenal. I love this cast. It's some of my favorite actors. You've got Toni Collette, Anna Kendrick, Daniel Day Kim, and Shamier Anderson. They play a crew. Shamier Anderson is kind of a new member that they didn't expect to be there. But Toni Collette, Anna Kendrick, and Daniel Day Kim, they are on a mission to Mars to start doing some experiments so that we can colonize it. They're on a 2-year mission on a ship that has been retrofitted. It used to be a 2-person ship. Now it's been retrofitted to be a 3-person ship. And then pretty early on, although not as early as I expected. I kind of liked that it was a slow start, let you kind of get to know the characters. But pretty early on, you're introduced to Shamier Anderson, or Michael, who plays Michael in the film. And he is found in a vent, I guess, tied to their CO2 filter, unconscious in the ship. So it's not really explained how he got there. He was in maintenance, so he worked for the company that made the spaceship, but they don't really explain how he got there. And so now you have 4 people on this ship that's designed originally for 2, been retrofitted for 3, and now you have 4. And this introduces all sorts of problems with the crew. So a lot of the film is about, them getting used to this new character, and then also them trying to figure out how they can make this work, because they have a 2-year mission. They're in space. They can't really, call a Grubhub or some sort of a a Blue Apron or delivery service to come and give them more food and supplies. They kind of have to deal with this on their own. So a lot of the film is them trying to figure out, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this work? And some of it is kept secret from Michael. But let's start with the introduction, the opening part, which I really liked. I love this cast. I loved the introduction. It kind of had a slow pace to it to let you really get to know these characters. And it had some really good effects. I mean, this film has a smart, setup. You've got this limited space because they're in this shuttle. So, they don't have to spend too much on effects, but it really has a good feel. It feels like they're in some sort of spaceship. There's enough variety in the spaceship that you don't have to see the same things over and over again. But you also get these confined spaces, which, makes it more digestible when you've got a small crew and kind of a small cast. And so I really liked that. There were some really good space effects, especially when they first get to space, and then some, very convenient explanations for why certain things work, why they have gravity and stuff like that. But it was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it. I really like the sound when they go into space for the first time, because if it's a good space film, you need to have that, that vacuum of space effect that happens when you suck out all the air. So all of that was good. I liked it. And then when Michael gets introduced, you've got more of a thriller. And so I go into these films generally not watching a trailer, not reading up about the film. I want to be surprised. I want to know what it's about. And I kept waiting, like, okay, so now we've got the Stowaway. He's going to turn. Like, there's going to be some sort of sinister aspect of this. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I watched too much horror, but there wasn't anything sinister or supernatural. It just became more of a thriller for how are we going to deal with the situation. So they try a few things, they fail at a few things, and then eventually they have to go and siphon liquid oxygen from the rocket that is on the other side of the ship, or the other side of the station, to get enough oxygen to survive. Okay, I mean they're dealing with what they got. They don't have any supplies. And so they have this harrowing climb up to get the fuel, and then back down to get the fuel. And lo and behold, they don't get it. They don't get the oxygen. Something goes wrong. It happens. And so then they have to send one more person to get the oxygen. And this ends up being Anna Kendrick, which I was a little upset about, because A, she's a doctor. They're on a mission for 2 years. she's probably going to be more useful than David, the character who is an algae biologist who's looking to make oxygen, but all of his research has been destroyed because they've been trying to use it to deal with the situation. I felt like he probably should have gone. I don't know. I guess maybe he was motion sick, but I don't know. Too bad. Like, go. Or Toni Collette, who, you know, like, she has a hurt arm. I understand that. They should have sent David and what was it? Marina. Send both of them. Leave Anna Kendrick because A, she was the funniest. She's also the doctor. She's probably the most useful for the next 2 years. And then if they don't survive, problem solved. If they do survive, great. Everyone gets air and everyone's happy. But they sent Anna Kendrick, who goes up, gets the air, comes back, and then dies. And I imagine at that point, Marina's like, oh my gosh, I have a cast. I don't know what to do because I don't have a doctor anymore. And they're like, oh, well, now we're stuck on this ship for 2 years with no medical care, and I hope we survive. I don't know. It feels like this movie, and I'm being a little critical of it. It feels like this movie had this really great introduction and this kind of dramatic ending that it wanted, and kind of filled in the space with linking scenes, but didn't fill it out completely. Maybe that's explained somewhere else. There's some holes in this movie that I didn't love. Like, I might be mistaken, but I don't think they ever explained why Michael was there. He never really said it. They never pressed him on why he ended up there. And it wasn't like he was just asleep in like a crew bed or something like that. He was like screwed into a maintenance area. So it doesn't seem like something that would have, you know, just happened randomly. Maybe he was going around in there trying to like fix something and he got hit, but he was also injured. Like, he was cut and passed out. So it felt like he might have been attacked in some way. They never explained it. I feel like you could have explained something, anything, just to give it some closure. And also, it was really weird that they sent, you know, the doctor to go up there. I feel like they should have sent David Kim, because he was, you know, he didn't have much purpose for the mission. His research was destroyed. He was a family person. He did have a family at home. He had a wife, but I felt like, you know, given the needs of the mission, David Kim probably should have gone. So that was my problem with the plot, and it kind of soiled a lot of the experience. I really loved the opening. I loved a lot of things about this film, but when the story just didn't really come together, it really felt like they had this ending that they wanted to get to, and then they did it. So I thought, you know what, let me write my own ending for this film, because I could maybe close a plot hole, you know, maybe add some more scenes after. And so I went and wrote one down. This will be a dramatic read, so apologies if this is not interesting. If it's not, just skip ahead, or, you know, go watch something else. But here is my ending to Stowaway. And I'll have pictures of the characters, so I don't necessarily have to, you know, say who they are. But here we go. So the team is on the shuttle, or the station. We'll go with station. And they have just lost one canister of air. So there's only one more canister. It's leaking up in the liquid oxygen rocket. So they have to figure out what to do. And Michael says, "I'm so sorry, team. I've been trying to get on the mission because I love the work and need the pay to help care for my sister. I thought this would be the quickest way to get on the mission and show Hyperion what I can do. And I also knew that if Hyperion thought I was accidentally on here, they would pay for my sister's care. Her bills have been crippling me, and I just couldn't afford it anymore." Zoe, "I'm so sorry. You just had no choice." Michael, "Yes, I knew that the ship could handle 4 people because I helped retrofit it, but I didn't realize I would pass out and damage the CO2 filter, and for some reason we don't have any spares of it at all, ever." David, "You son of a bitch, you've killed us all." Michael, "I know. This is my fault, so I should be the one to get the oxygen. I know that if I fail, it won't be enough, but at least I won't be a burden on you anymore." So then Michael suits up. I should explain that there's a radiation storm right now. The sun is angry, and so anyone that goes out will probably get massive tumors and die. That's the implication from the film. So Michael gets out and starts climbing. There's noticeable discomfort as his wound reopens. He collapses back on the ship and gets pulled back into the airlock. Zoe, oh my God, Michael, you can't do this. You're too hurt. I will have to go. Michael, no, Zoe, it's suicide. This is my fault. You shouldn't have to pay for my sins. Zoe, I'm the only one that can. Davy gets motion sickness, even though he's already done it once, I guess, and Marina has one arm. And hey, we are a crew now. You signed your name on that wall too. We are family for 2 years, better or worse. And then she gives her Anna Kendrick smile. Everyone knows it, to let him know that everything will be okay. So the scene plays out as it does in the film. Same basic way. Zoe gets up, she goes out, she gets the air. She has no problems this time, even though there had a lot of problems last time. And then she puts the air back in the station, and then the dramatic scene where she dies, which was a good scene. I will give it that. Like it was an emotional scene. It had a lot of great sci-fi effects. It just felt kind of odd as the end of the film. So after she dies, cut to Michael crying. David lets out a single tear as he takes down the Harvard flag from his bunk and sips from the Yale mug. Marina realizes that she has a cast and no medical care for 2 years and starts to wonder how they're going to complete this mission. But they do. We cut forward. I don't know how, it was 2 years to get to Mars. My guess is they would be at Mars for a year or two and then 2 years to come back. So let's cut 6 years to be safe. Cut to the return to Earth. David meets his wife at the hangar after he's been gone for a long time. Then it cuts to him picking up his young daughter. Surprise! He and his wife were pregnant, and that's probably why Zoe didn't ask him to go, because she knew that he had a wife and a daughter. And on her backpack of his little daughter, it's embroidered Zoe, because he named her after Zoe. Credits. So there you go. That was my take of an alternate ending for Stowaway. Hey, look, I just do this as a hobby. I'm sure a lot of very smart people wrote this film, and you know what? The film was already about an hour. It was about 2 hours, so it's possible some of the stuff was just cut because of the length. I mean, I like slow developed films. I like when you get to spend a lot of time with the character, especially with this cast. I really like spending time with them, so I wouldn't have minded 10 15 more minutes to flesh out some of this. But hey, maybe they cut it for length. I don't know. They're professionals. I'm just an amateur. But that was my take on how Stowaway could have ended. My recommendation on the review was to rent it. Rent it means don't see it instantly. It's not like a must see, but it's a good film, and if you watch it, you'll enjoy it. And that's how I felt about this movie. I really enjoyed parts of it. The ending kind of left me a little sour, but the build up to the ending was great, and I liked the setting and the effects and the sound. So I think it's ultimately a good movie to watch. If you're interested in watching it, you can watch it on Netflix. It's available now, April 22nd, 2021. So you can Netflix and chill and get taken into space. And you know what? After you watch it, let me know if you think my ending was better. Maybe I missed, maybe they did explain and I just missed it. So just let me know anyway what you thought. And thanks so much for watching. And as always, if you liked this review and if you liked any other content, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me a lot to make sure all my new interviews, reviews, unboxing videos, they go straight to you. And as always, please go to watcherpass.com for all your movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Thank you.